Dear listeners of the Female Guides Requested podcast, welcome back. This is your host Ting Ting from Las Vegas. Today we are joined by a true trailblazer, Norie Kizaki, born in a remote Japanese village where her family oversaw a Buddhist temple. Norie's path to the mountains was anything but traditional. After moving to the U.S. for grad school and falling in love with the Rockies, she navigated the rigorous AMGA certification process to become a mountain guide. In this episode, we dive into her transition from the corporate world to the outdoors, her experiences as an immigrant in a male-dominated industry, and the deeply personal choice she made to prioritize motherhood alongside her professional aspirations. Now, let's welcome Norie Kizaki. Norie, welcome to the Female Guides Requested podcast. I'm hoping that I pronounced your name correctly. Is it Norie Kizaki?
Norie Kizaki, yes, and Norie Kizaki is correct pronunciation in Japanese. But, my husband calls me Norie, so.
I see. So in Japanese, it's Norie.
Yes.
Great. I'll try my best to remember that. And so thank you so much for sparing your time to be on this podcast. You are the first, I'm excited because you are the first BIPOC female guide that based in United States who got her pin. Yeah. Right. So I know this is kind of like a tongue twister,
but
right. You established quite a lot of firsts in the States. So I'm pretty excited because as also an Asian woman, I feel that I have a lot to relate to you. And do you mind give the audience a brief intro about yourself, like where you're from, where do you live, and how many years have you been guiding and all those things?
Okay, so let's see. I was raised in Japan, a rural part of Japan, west side of Japan. I would say the population is by 200, 300 people living in a village. Very small rural area. My grandfather was a Buddhist monk. My father is a monk, and then my brother recently took over the temple as a head monk. So I suppose that's different from most people, whether or not you live in Japan or US. It's beautiful, rice field and thick forests with mountains, hills on sides. We have our own dialects, so that's how isolate in the villages. So with 200, 300 people, we have our own dialects of that village. We didn't really have much of a mountaineering culture, really, when I was growing up. Outdoor exercise was for rich people. It didn't really occur to me that people do that. However, my parents enjoyed skiing, so they cut down some forest in a hill, and we just hiked up and down. We hiked and ski down, Nearby town, we had a ski slope with 2 chairs, and one of the chair was probably a single chair, right? Instead of like a double, just single chair. And we ski there often. So yeah, I really didn't do climbing or mountaineering, or no, my family did that. I didn't know anything about it. And yeah, I actually didn't really know anything about it until I came to US in graduate school.
I
So
see. Yeah, wow, I already have a lot of questions. Like, it's a little bit hard for me to imagine. So, is your family pretty spiritual? Because you say your family, that's the temple. Is that temple or
yeah, temple,
monastery?
monastery. It's a big area. It's a temple slash monastery. It's beautiful, and unfortunately, not a lot of people still come and visit. We need more visitors, but it's pretty isolated area. It's pretty different from most of the guys, growing up these days. That many of them have access to outdoor.
I would say that you had access to the outdoors, right? Because forest, your sun, maybe
Right.
hills, so you could
Sure.
ski. Yeah, and because I think a lot of guys, they not necessarily that when they were young they did technical stuff, but then
Mm,
they were playing outside and all that. So, do you
right.
feel that the nature affect you when you were growing up?
It's hard to say, but I'm sure he has, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Even though we were in a remote area, my family valued education. So, they weren't really into like outdoor education or outdoor sports, except, they did like skiing. But I believe the only expectation I had growing up there was they wanted me to go to college, and I did.
I see.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and in Taiwan, so I grew up in Taiwan, and there's actually a lot of Japanese influence in Taiwan. I read a lot of manga
Yes.
growing up, and I watch a lot of Japanese drama too. And was it something like, in the drama they always portray that, you're from a little village or little town, but then everybody want to go to, say, Tokyo, like some bigger city for their education, or maybe like some sort of dream of success. Did you have that?
Yes. My mother came from different village, and she actually went to college in Tokyo. So she encouraged me to go to college in Tokyo because, everybody should live in Tokyo once, kind of thing. So I actually lived in Tokyo while going to college in Japan.
All right. So you went to college in Tokyo.
Yes.
And then how did you end up? So you came to the States for grad school, right?
Yes.
So was it in your plan early on, or it was kind of like, just happened somehow by some sort of chance?
So while I was growing up in a small village, because my family really valued education, and they also valued just experiencing just worldwide things. They invited high school exchange student to live with us, and she was from America, and she told me that she wanted to become a medical doctor. And then back then, while I was growing up, I actually hadn't met any female medical doctor. So that kind of stuck in my mind that, maybe in America you can become a medical doctor even when you're a girl. And I started to dream about, going to America. I didn't really know much about it, really, but just growing up in this tiny little village, I just wanted to see outside world, and outside world didn't really like. It wasn't just Japan. I could go to America, and to go to US, I need to start studying English. And my English education is really just public school education. So once we had English as a second language in junior high, I really focused on I better learn this language so that I could go to US someday. So I studied, probably Taiwan too, Taiwan, Japan. For me back then, Japanese culture still really focused on education and studying hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I just wanted to make sure that I better do really well in English so that I could go to US. And I did. I went to graduate school. I got a scholarship, and I didn't know much difference, not really, between Colorado versus Nebraska or Colorado versus, like Texas or San Francisco, New York. I didn't really know much. I just happened to come to University of Denver. So that was really by luck that Colorado had mountains, and I fell in love with mountains.
Nice. You met this exchange American girl before you even start study English.
Correct.
Okay, so you were a kid, maybe like in elementary school, I guess.
Yes.
Wow. So you had this dream. Was like, wow, it's interesting because things like in United States, a woman can do a lot of different things.
Right. And, there are now female medical doctors in Japan now, but back then I didn't see any.
And I hope that in the Japanese culture, because I have this impression about Japanese culture that the hierarchy or, the female woman's, I don't know how to describe it, but this sounds sort of like, okay, men should work outside while women go to, say, bridal school and manage inside. Is this still prevalent in Japan like that? Or is that true?
Well, it was like that growing up. Now, it's more due to economy that women, in a way, forced to work these days, right? And there's also more opportunities for women these days. So things have changed quite a bit. There's still a lot to improve. It's definitely not as equal as what it seems in US. And if you are born in US and grow up in US, and if you are female, you might have a lot to, tell you how unfair it may be, even in US. But to me, because I know how things still are in Japan, US is pretty good. I mean, US still has a lot to learn and a lot to fix, and depends on who you ask. It might be going wrong directions as you want it to be, but I still think America is still land of opportunities and the place of American dream.
Right. And how about your family? Seems like your family at least very supportive about, encourage you to go to college in Tokyo. And did they also really encourage you to say, okay, yeah, you want to go to United States, go to United States? I think that will be a great opportunity for you.
They did not object, right? And it was also for studying. But in my mind, it wasn't just for studying. I was determined to move.
I move out of Japan, you mean?
Yes, I was going to live in the United States, right?
I see.
And that was only in my mind.
So you came to the United States not only for study, but just like, all right, I'm going to explore my opportunity in the United States. That's where I'm going to stay for quite a long time.
Yes.
Okay, I see. And because of the scholarship, so you, after all, because United States is a big country, right? So you didn't know the difference between different cities, but you end up in Denver.
Correct.
Then what did you study in grad school? And then
yes,
when
so,
did you have contact with the mountain?
I majored in international intercultural communication. That was combination of international studies and communication. So that was where I was interested. I studied a lot of international politics. I also studied about, just immigration issues or human rights issues. Also more about communication. I studied basically like DEI. And that was a very kind of new concept back then. These days,
when
people
was
know
that?
what DEI is.
Right.
But back then, nobody knew what that meant, really.
And when was that time? Can you give me an year?
Yeah, well, I have to do my age now.
Okay.
I'm 51. So that would make it, like 25 years ago, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow. So 25 years ago, roughly, that you already studied DEI related.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was in academic sort of way. Yeah, I was just interested in the topic. I thought that I would work in the government industry, that I will work for non-profit, something like that. But when I graduated, finished school, like real life, like reality hits you. And my goal was to live in US. So to get a green card, without getting married, I had to find a sponsor, a company that sponsors me. And then when I graduated, it was the time of kind of .com. Many companies were seeking more of a high-tech workers. And I wasn't a technology person, but I can write both Japanese and English. So I worked for a company in Denver, and they were doing kind of consulting work that some English product becomes Japanese products, and I wasn't really a translator, but I was making sure that it's working the same way that the American product is supposed to be when it goes to like Japanese website or something like that.
So when you graduated, you were actually talking about the .com boom.
Yes. So I was hired, not because of my graduate degree, but mostly because I understood and spoke both languages. Yeah, I stayed in that company for 6 years to get my green card. And during then, I knew that my heart wasn't in it. It was a great experience. It let me travel around the country. I sometimes went abroad for work. I was comfortable. I bought a house, and it seems like American dream, but my heart wasn't really in it. And that's when, that was about when I met my boyfriend back then. And, we talked about what we want to do with life, and I really wanted to work in outdoor industry. So eventually I quit my high-paying job and I started working for our band.
Oh, okay. So your first outdoor job was our band.
Yes.
Okay. Then that will be a huge contrast because I know that our band doesn't pay.
No, it was a very big contrast.
Yes. Yeah, but I totally understand. So because of the immigration status, right? Obviously, if you want to stay, first you get your H1, the work visa,
Yes.
right? And eventually, if you stay long enough, the company sponsor you, so eventually you get a green card.
Yes.
And then I know because a lot of, I'm an immigrant too, so we just say, well, once you get your green card, you're free. That you can at least choose what you really want to do.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
I did say, I wanted, maybe being a Japanese, maybe it's my culture, but I felt like I couldn't just quit right away. I needed to give back to the company that gave me sponsorship. So I stayed one more year. I didn't quit right away.
Yeah, I understand. I read, I mentioned about the manga book, and they were just like in Japan, you stay in the company for a long time.
Right.
Right. But your heart was not in there, and you wanted to work in the outdoor industry.
Mm-hmm.
And where was that thought? Where did that thought come from? Like outdoor industry. When was your first contact with outdoor sport? And then why was that so inspiring that you want to be in the outdoor industry?
Well, when I was finishing graduate school, I started doing more rock climbing, backcountry skiing, biking, just doing some outdoor activities, right? Mm-hmm. And I really liked it, and it was like my hobby, right? And I have a job, and I had a hobby to go rock climbing or go hiking, things like that. And when I met my boyfriend back then, he found this class that's Chicks with Pics back then, and they were doing only woman clinic for ice climbing, and he's like, "Oh, you should do this," and I was like, "Okay." So I went to do 1 week Chicks with Pics clinic, and I met female guides, including Angela House, and I was very inspired. I didn't know that profession existed, and I didn't know that woman could do it. And just by attending the course, I started to wonder if I could be that. And ever since then, I just bugged Angela. I had questions, and I talked to her, and she probably didn't mean to be my mentor, but I just bugged her enough that she couldn't refuse talking to me, probably. And I was getting suggestions, and she was wonderful. Whenever I needed help, suggestions, or just to talk, we became also good friends. And I went to our bound, but with the intention that I would transition to guiding. I felt like I needed some experience.
I see. So is your husband back then boyfriend.
Yes.
Is he also an outdoor person too?
Yes, he really enjoy rock climbing, skiing, all the stuff I do. He's a very talented mountaineer, skier, rock climber, all that. So I think it wasn't difficult for him to encourage me to do what I want to do.
I see. So he understands the passion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And does he also work in the outdoor industry or no?
He doesn't,
Right.
though I bet he would, but he doesn't.
Okay. So you met Angela Haas.
Mhm.
And you were inspired by Angela. Just like, okay, then potentially I can do something like Angela does. Was that
Yes.
the thought? Okay. And then, so you said that you stopped bug her. And what kind of questions do you ask her? Was
Well,
it about how to become a guide or how to be a better climber or stuff like that?
just all that. She used to work on our band, so initially I had lots of
Oh, okay.
questions
I
about
see.
that.
Yeah.
And the strategies on taking courses, how to go about it, and gosh, just so many things. Just questions about technical things, but also about like how to calm yourself during the course, how not to be so wrapped up in your nervous energy.
I
Just
see.
just all of that.
Okay. So basically she was a mentor, both potentially climbing and career.
Yes.
Okay. Because you were thinking about becoming a guide and then, obviously she had been a guide for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So you asked her for maybe like a roadmap or stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay.
And then sometimes specific questions about, courses,
Mm-hmm.
how to go about it. And I probably talk to her right before every course exam.
Of the AMGA, right?
Of
Okay.
MGA courses. Mm-hmm.
Right. So because of that, you say, okay, I start at, say, our band. And then was that at the very beginning you want to be a pin guide? Means that
I
you
think I
want
had an
to,
intention. I
okay,
had an
like all
intention to
discipline.
become a guide. But I thought that just having some experience in those just instructions would help me become a good guide. And because I didn't have any experience as
Right.
a guide, really. I mean, I was a
Mm-hmm.
climber, skier already, but I had no experience guiding or teaching for that matter.
Right. And so my question was, like, for example, I'm not an IFMG mountain guide. I'm a rock guide. Right. So rock is my only discipline. So I'm just curious. Well, obviously you climb and ski, but was that your intention to become a forcer mountain guide?
No, actually, no, not at all. I just wanted to become a good guide.
I see.
Right?
Yeah.
So once I take one course, and then when it's like, oh, maybe I should take this course that will help me do this. Or I should take Alpine course so that I can go guide Alpine. And it never really occurred to me that I would have IFMGA cert for a long time, really. And it was more my husband, well, if you're going to take this one, you might as well try taking everything.
I see. So your husband was like pushing course.
But
not
for
you.
me, I was just like, I just want to be a good guide. And if to be a good guide, taking another course helps, then I would, right? So just for a long time, the pin didn't really occur to me.
Right.
But toward the end, like, okay, well, I only have a few left. I might as well finish this process.
Right. You were getting closer and closer. Then might as well finish. Yes. And so after Outward Bound, what was your first guiding job?
Okay, so I went to Colorado Mountain School, based in Boulder, and I had an interview with Michael Kalas, who owned CMS back then, and I had no certification. I did have top rope cert, so single pitch cert used to be a top rope cert back then, and that's all I had. But I really wanted to do more than that, right? Because I just couldn't make a living by just doing top rope cert. So I went to Mike and said, I'm gonna take an exam. So it was like spring, just right after winter, and I'll take exam of back then it was called Rock Instructor Cert. And then I'll take the exam. I plan on passing it so that you can hire me right after I pass that exam.
Back then, you can challenge the exam, right? Did you challenge the exam?
What do you mean?
Meaning that, so now, like, in order to take the, say, rock exam, you have to start with the rock guide course, and then you do the advanced rock guide course. But I heard there's a period of time.
That's exactly. So I took a rock guide course. I've already done that one. But that doesn't, rock guide course itself wasn't a cert. It still is not a cert. But rock instructor cert was a certification.
Yes.
So I took a rock guide course, and then there was a rock instructor exam. So I said, well, I'm planning on taking the exam. I'm planning on passing it. So you should hire me.
Good. I like your attitude that, okay, I'm going to pass this, and then so you can hire me. That's good. Coming with like determination and confidence. I like that. And then, so that's exactly what happened, right?
Yeah, that's what happened. I passed and then got hired.
Nice. And then, obviously you are still working for them, right? But over the years, you get more and more certain, and you started to work different type of trips.
Yes.
Okay. And other than Colorado Mountain School, do you work for other guide companies too?
So I've been working for Colorado Mountain School. I still work for Colorado Mountain School. I live in Boulder. So, that's where I've been working as long as I studied guiding. I have worked in various companies, ski guiding in Japan.
I see. Yes.
I also worked independently in Japan as well.
That's interesting. Yeah, I would love to explore that a little bit. So two questions here. So what did you think about guiding though? So originally it's like inspired by Angela Haas and wanted to be a guide. But I knew that some people, because they love skiing and climbing, they become the guide, but then turns out the guiding is different.
Correct.
Than what they thought, right? Because guiding is not just you yourself climbing and skiing. You have to teach and take care of other people and all that.
Right.
So was that the job that you imagined that was? Did you have to make any adjustment? Did you like it?
I loved it. Right?
Right.
That's why I'm still
yes, of course,
doing it. It wasn't how would I say? Sure, guiding is completely different from personal climbing. And I tell people that if you wanted to be a really good, talented rock climber, you should not become a guide.
I agree. Yes. Mm-hmm.
If that's your goal, if you want to be climbing 514, I mean,
Right.
there are definitely some guys who could do that, guide and climb 514.
Yes.
But it's very rare.
It's extremely hard,
Yes.
I think.
And it's completely different. If you want to be seeking out, first ascent and, every year, then guiding might not be the profession for you. And granted, there are definitely people who do it and still guide. There are definitely very, very talented people like that. But most guides are not like that. Most guides, including myself, I climb for my client. And because I'm so busy climbing for client, that my climbing suffers. But I still love personal climbing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I still love it. It's completely a different sport, right?
Right. That's right. You have to find the balance,
Mm-hmm.
right? Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm a mom, my personal climbing or personal anything suffers even more. Yeah, just being a mom and guide, my personal climbing suffer even more these days. But that's just life.
Yes. And what do you like about guiding? You've been in this job for a long time,
Yeah.
right?
For me, it's really not that much about what I climbed with client or what they climbed with me. The relationships that I developed with clients over the years. Many of my clients have become my friends. They have become my life coach. Like I coach them on skiing or climbing or whatever, but they coach me about life in general. Or we become good friends, and just the relationship that come out from being outside, doing things together that we feel passionate about is it's just something that I never really thought that are so wonderful. Like it's such a wonderful experience to be sharing things outdoors with clients, and this relationship that we developed over the years. I wouldn't have had that if I weren't a guide.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you're really enjoying the relationship. I'm just curious, is there anybody who bug you like you bug Angela in the past? It's just like, hey, Nora.
Can you say again?
I say, I'm curious, like, is there any client who bugs you like you bug Angela Haas before? They just like, oh, Norie, I'm really inspired by you. I want to be a guide too. And then start like, hey, tell me about how this is gonna work.
Not really similar. I admit I was probably too persistent on bugging Angela.
That's nice though. I mean, I like your persistence. Yes. And you mentioned about being a mom. So how old is your son now?
My son is 7 years old.
7.
He's in first grade.
Wow. Okay. So he already gained some sort of independence. But I read that you were pregnant when you were on the later stage of becoming a pinged guide.
Right. So I received the pin 2021. So 4 years has passed, but I had 3 courses. So 1 course, 2 exams left when I was pregnant. And, as you can see, I'm 51. So it was late, being pregnant. In terms of being pregnant, you should be pregnant much earlier than that. And I highly suggest being pregnant earlier than that. But I always had intentions of being a mother. And at one time I really gave up. I gave up just doing AMGA courses. And it was very, how would I say? It was a decision I made intentionally, because we tried being pregnant for years, and I hate to blame on courses and exams, but I mean it's stressful, right? And I knew exactly why I wasn't getting pregnant, and I just decided that, you know what, it's not really worth it. I need to stop this for now. So I just want to go back to background story, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I really love to hear it.
So, first of all, like guys, some guys decide not to be parents. That's totally fine. That's the decision they make. And I really did struggle with, I really want to do this course. Maybe once I finish this course, once I finish this exam, I can be pregnant. And all this time, I'm still trying to be pregnant, but I wasn't getting pregnant. So I want to say, I watched some kind of motivational talk, and there was this life coach asked a bunch of successful CEOs in the audience to write down what they want their gravestone to look like, what they want the writing on their gravestone, right? So it's a bunch of CEOs, very successful. They make a bunch of monies, and none of them said, I want my gravestone to say successful CEO. None of them said, I want my gravestone to say top ranking CEO or anything like that. All of them said something like caring father, caring mother, beloved husband. It was all about relationship instead of what they achieved and what they gained in their career. And when we watched it, my husband said, do you want your gravestone to say AMGA guide? And then I said, gosh, in the end of my life, what do I care? Like, sure, I would love to have AMGA, sir, but is that what I wanted to say in my grave? I think I want my grave to say caring mother. So that was it. And then I decided, you know what? If I wanted to say caring mother, even if it doesn't say AMGA guide, okay, I'm going to start crying. I really want to focus on having a child. So I really gave up for maybe at least 2 years. And it felt so great. I didn't have to think about next course. I didn't have to think about next exam. And I also said, okay, this is the last year that I'm going to try. And if I don't get pregnant, that's okay. We're still going to have a good life. And maybe my gravestone is going to say I'm a FMGA guide. And that's okay too.
Yeah, it is a great story, and thank you for sharing. So you realized that at that moment that, well, becoming a mother was quite important for you, right? So I think what I learned is sometimes we are so fixated on what's in front of us because you are doing the AMGA or IFMGA cert. So obviously that was important, but then you kind of zoom out a little bit to see your life. It's just like, oh, I do really want to be a mom.
Right. And I'm so glad that, all I had to do was to give up and I got pregnant.
Yeah. And then, but after you are still an IFMGA guy. So I think sometimes, just like you say, even at that time, you feel like you are giving up something. But it was just a temporary pause.
Right. But really back then, I really had to let go. Like I didn't want to think anything about MGA. I didn't want to hear about it. I kind of completely like put myself out of it.
Right.
Because I really just wanted to focus on, having a child. And, trying to have a child and not having a child, right? Like there's so many women, I can't really remember the number, maybe 1 in 10, 1 in 20. So many women struggle with not being pregnant. And that was the hardest in my life. Much, much harder than any courses or any exams, right? So I should say women are so strong.
Yes, of
Women
course.
are just so strong. I cannot believe so many people struggle not getting pregnant and they just suffer in silence. Because what do you say to your friend who can't get pregnant? Nothing, really. You don't really say anything to your friend who can't get pregnant because you don't know. You don't know what to say.
That's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
so,
mm-hmm.
yeah, but once I did have a child, then I was able to, okay, maybe let's just think about MG again.
and I know that maybe like what should I say? Like now you had at that time you had a kid, so probably your mental status was had improved, I assume, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even though the maybe logistics wise it's complicated the situation, right? Because you have to take care of this young kid. In the meantime, juggling with your schedule and time practicing and preparing for your exam.
Right.
Yeah, but I think at least your head was in a better space. Would you say that?
I would, yes, I would think so because, like I mentioned, not being pregnant or not getting pregnant when you want to be pregnant, it's just like extremely difficult. So when you don't have that, then I just feel relieved, and I have more mental space.
I heard the story, even though I can imagine it was still pretty complex to, all the scheduling. I bet it's like now getting through the final stage of the exam and courses was easier.
Oh, I don't know. It's like,
Yes.
I mean, it's still difficult. I don't have any more courses or exams, but I just have work and it's still a challenge. When I was going through last push of exams, my husband basically said, do whatever you need to do. And I do the childcare. And that's what I did. And I have to say, I missed many weeks of my son's early life, right? So when a child is young, I mean, he wasn't a baby anymore, but let's see, my first course after pregnancy he was 1.5 years old. And when I came back, he was able to do things he couldn't do before. So I missed that. Right.
As kids grow up so fast.
Correct. And then he's like bigger and taller and he could do things. And I missed that one. And then, I started training for doing my exam. And 2020, I was ready to do my ski guide exam. And then we were all in Canada, me, my husband, my son, who was 2, and Nanny. We were all in Canada, and I was ready to take the exam, and the COVID happened. So then my exam got canceled 2 days before, so we came back. So I didn't get to take that. Right. So I had to wait 2021. Now, and training takes time, and going away for exam, it's a long time. Even when I took my last ski guide exam, I just had to show up. I had no days that I used to have when I didn't have a child to go in advance, right? Go in advance, scout, do some training. I mean, I couldn't. I didn't have the luxury because it was still COVID time. We didn't really want a helper or nanny, or we couldn't even find one. So I had to go and I had to come back, right? So I arrived the day before, do the exam, and I come back. And that's how it goes.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, because before I did my exam, I definitely went there and climbed a bunch and stuff, but you didn't have the luxury because of COVID and also because of the young kid. Whew. Wow.
Right.
That was rough. Yeah. And how about now, because I kind of assume that you want to be as little as possible be absent from your sons growing up. And how do you manage this?
Well, managing is a challenge. It's a balancing act. I always have to balance motherhood and guiding. But that's same for all parents and mothers who have career, right? And being a mom itself is a full-time job. And sure, I'm not discounting being father, but being a mother is different from being a father. Being a mother, you carried that baby inside you. Being a mother naturally it's different. I mean, maybe some dad disagree, but that's how I see it. And when I work a lot, like this winter, I took my son to Japan and then dropped him off with grandparents. And then he went to school in Japan for 3 months. That sounds great, but it's moving him to Japan for 3 months. His Japanese is great. He can speak Japanese. His reading, writing is not that great, but he was going to public school in a village of 200 people. And I would go away 2 weeks. I come back 1 week to see my son, and I repeat the process. Right. And I could only do that because of grandparents. And then my husband was there for 1 month to support. So I have a lot of support in Japan to do that while I'm guiding in Northern Island. My home village is in Main Island. But that's a lot of time to be gone. And I have this mama guilt. So, it happens every year because this is not the first year I brought my son to Japan so that I could work. I couldn't do that during COVID, but I've done it before. And, every time I do it, I have this mama guilt. And then in spring, because I have this mama guilt, I feel like, I better spend a lot of time with my son. I do that. But then I was like, I actually need to get my work going. I need to schedule my work. So it's always a balancing act. And it never, ever feels like it's balanced. And it's never going to be balanced, unfortunately.
Right. But you're trying your best.
Yeah, that's all I can do.
Right. And what would you say? Because, most people's perception just like, wow. I mean, of course, you were talking about, if you want to have a full-time career and also be a mom is tough. But, as a guide, you might even not come home, right?
Right.
That night you could be on the trip.
Mm-hmm.
And right. And then we know that guiding could be long hours and all that. So most people think that, it's just hard. What would you say for female guys who also aspire to be mom? What would you tell them? You say, well, it's hard, but it's manageable or stuff.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's very challenging. I mean, I make it happen. I'm not sure if I'm making it happen in a right way. I don't know if I work too many or I work too little. I have no idea. But just the joy of being a mom is so much greater than anything that has given me in my life, like including being a AMGA guide. I mean, I would choose being a mom more than anything. So, I mean, if you want to be a mom, you want to be a mom. So,
yeah.
Just that.
Mm-hmm. Comes down to really listen to your heart, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And how about, so this is kind of now off topic a little bit, that we were talking about you were the first BIPOC woman based in the United States to get your PIN. Did you find it challenging? I mean, being a woman is already, I feel, a challenge because guiding is a male-dominated industry, right? And then do you find it on top of that, being a woman and also not a white woman?
Right.
Challenging.
Yeah, I don't know how to start, but I came to US for American dream, right? It's not easy to come by. I think I realized I had to work much harder if I look different and if I speak differently. And there was definitely time that was challenging to me. But I think my skin got thicker. I got stronger mentally as years went by. I made friends, and I have people who supported me through the process of, going through AMGA courses. I was definitely intimidated in the first a few AMGA courses. Time is different now. There are definitely a lot more support for females. There are a lot more understanding, right, about DEI. But when I started, it was different. It was a different world. It was almost all the time I was the only female. Yeah, so there were times that was challenging for sure. And but I think that back then I felt intimidated, but now I'm also older. And if somebody says inappropriate comment, now I wouldn't be quiet, right? If somebody said anything about my accent, I would be like, well, how many languages do you speak,
Yes.
So I have also changed. And the world or society, at least within the AMGA, has changed in a better way. And obviously there are things that needs to improve still, and we all do. So I also didn't want to be like a victim, right? Like I didn't want to be sorry for myself for looking different or being different or speaking differently. And it's easy to say, but hard to do. Like if something bad happens to you and then you think of it, it's because of my race, ethnicity, you could think anything. Like it may be true, but it may not be true. But I kind of had to forgive. Like I had to forgive the world and society that may not seem unfair to me. And I just had to focus on things I can control myself. And then what I can control myself is to do the work, to do the hard work and do my best. Yeah. And
nice.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Yeah, I really like what you said that, don't put yourself in this victim role.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that, right? Because you just like, if you put yourself in this role, then you feel vulnerable, you feel helpless. But then if you don't, then there's always something we can do to change things.
Right.
Yeah. So I really like that. And I'm curious, I also, I visit your website. And then it seems like you and your husband has this scholarship that you
Right.
provide for people who want to be, people who are already in the guide or instructing role. Was that correct? Can you tell me a little bit about that scholarship?
Right. So we have Kizaki Wolf ARI scholarship. So ARI, for those people who doesn't know, is it's American Institute for Avalanche Research and Education. And it's a nonprofit organization to provide avalanche training, education and training for recreationalists as well as professionals. And then the organization also train instructors who teach those courses. And I cannot remember when we started the scholarship, but we have provided about, give and take, 17 individuals. And within the 17, a few individuals has received scholarship twice. but so give and take, about 17 people. And sometimes it's full for some partial scholarship. We try to provide full scholarship as much as we can. Sometimes we receive a lot of applications, and then sometimes we have to split up the funding. But we are proud of how much we have been able to provide, and influences that have, helped them participate those courses. So, yeah, what do you have questions about this?
Yeah. No, so I'm just curious, right? So, in our previous conversation, you mentioned about giving back, right? So giving back is kind of like an important thing. So this is a way of you giving back to the community, right? So there could be so many different things. For example, right now, the DEI world, maybe, people will give scholarship to, say, BIPOC population or something like that. But obviously this avalanche education is, it's not like you have unlimited resources. You kind of have to focus. So you chose this. So must because this thing you find very more attached to other causes. So I'm just kind of curious why you chose avalanche education.
Well, I've been an avalanche educator for a long time. And when I started teaching every course, it was usually the case that was only female instructor. And sometimes we didn't really have female students either. And things have changed a lot in a positive way. There are a lot more, people who are not, mainstream, what we consider, it's not just white male, it's more, a lot of diversity in courses. And so we have come a long way, but we were not like that 10 years ago, or even 20 years ago. So I just thought that this would be a good place for me and my husband to give back to the community, and it was actually my husband's suggestions. He has been a philanthropist as long as I remember, and he has this idea that you don't really have to be wealthy person to give back, right? So he always set up. He always had a scholarship for a new immigrant going to business school when he himself had student debts, right? So we had a really small scholarship for first time going to college from the family kind of thing. And it was a very small scholarship, but I mean, we also had student debts. We lived in a small condo, and we had Ford Explorer that was about to die. So, but I mean, if you wait, how long do you wait to give back, right? You can always give back.
Of course. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so we started scholarships for for Eri, who wants to become an Eri instructor. And it wasn't just for female instructors. It's not. We have provided scholarships for females, but we have also provided scholarships for like for example, snowmobile instructors, and let's see, like hard of hearing instructor who can provide courses for deaf individuals. So the scholarship is not just for females; it's for really everyone who is not who is less represented in the community.
I see. Cool. Wow. I mean, our conversation, it looked like, I like your husband, but from like what I've heard, he encouraged you, to take the ice skiing from chicks and pigs, and, encourage you, to do the IMGA cert, and encourage you to think about it's really important to you, and also say, and it's really inspiring, say, you don't have to be super wealthy to give back. You can give back anytime. Yeah. So I would say that, that for what you describe, I think it's quite inspiring.
Well, I love him.
That's obviously is a good reason to love him. So I'm really glad. So right now, say if people want to hire you, do you take new clients if they just like contact you directly, or they have to go through the guide service you work for, or something like that?
Well, I know my schedule the best, so I would like people to contact me first, and then I'll direct them to if it's border work or work in front range, then I would direct them to CMS websites, and then I ask them to put the dates we agreed and then my name in it, right?
Okay.
And if it's trip to Japan, then again they contact me and we figure out dates, and then I go through a local company there for insurance and safety reasons. I mean, I used to work independently, but I realized that in the ski guiding world, like there's so much going on with, just, not just injuries, but avalanches or like other people's around you, or there's a lot more factors involved, and to provide the safest, best product possible, but also in addition to the safety plan, right? And
Right.
I didn't feel like I can provide the safest plan with walking by myself. I wanted support. I wanted the team. So I go through a local company. So if something were to happen, I'm there for them. They're there for me.
Nice. So you right now at current stage that you split your time between US and Japan.
It's not completely split, but
Okay.
this year I was in Japan, January, February, March.
I see. So do you, other than Japan and front range, do you guide other places?
I have. I've taken people to Iceland, and I did the trip with Angela. I did a little bit of work in France, and I have all the permits and certification to do that. This summer, I plan to be in the front range.
I see. And so for people to find you, is that the best way to go to your website?
Best way, yes, and email
Okay.
me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. but email would be the best way to reach me.
Cool. Sure. I can also include those information on the show notes.
Okay. Well, thank you.
So if people want to find you and want to hire you as a guide, they can find you and talk to you.
Yeah, great.
Cool. Yeah, thank you so much for letting me interview you. I wonder whether you have any last thoughts that you want to tell the audience that I didn't think of.
Oh, I don't know, but yeah. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me. And if you have other questions, I'm here. So
great.
Yeah.
So let me try it. So ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。どういたしまして。
So can I say? Do I have to say sayonara? Is it more formal, or I can say じゃね?
Well, sayonara or じゃね. じゃね is also okay. In an informal setting.
I see. Oh, yes. So yeah, thank you very much.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you for listening to the Female Guides Request podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review and share it with a friend. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious out there.